And this morning on the road to Salt Lake, Todd Eldredge, known as the master of spin. Todd's been competing on the ice for more than 12 years. He's won 5 national titles and 1 world title. Now at the age of 30, he's one of the oldest male skaters on the ice, attempting to reach Olympic gold, perhaps for the very last time in his career.
That's right, that's right. Straight arm.
Let's talk about age, okay? 30 years old. For a doctor, for, anybody else, that's the beginning of a career. For a skater, 30 years old is seen as the end of the career. How do you view age?
Age is a number, and it really doesn't matter in most of the events that I enter nowadays. I look at it as more experience. I have so much more experience than the other guys.
When you look at that number, 30 though, does it directly correlate to sore legs at the end of a workout, things like that?
I had those when I was 19 too. I definitely have more days where I wake up and things take a little bit longer to get going in the morning.
And out.
Todd's interest in skating began at the age of 5 after watching the Olympics. His parents took him to a local ice rink where he began taking lessons. A few years later, he was training with Richard Callahan,
Outside edge, open up the hand.
who has remained Todd's coach for the past 20 years.
He was a young technical skater that because of his technical ability and his work ethics, and then he just had a good amount of talent.
Talent that led Todd to win gold at the 1996 World Championships. What did it mean to you to stand on the platform and be recognized as the best male skater in the world?
To you, when you're standing on that podium, you really realize, wow, this is what everybody sees as the end result. But what they didn't see was all the hard work that went into it. And, you listen to the national anthem and you stand up there and it's just, it's the best feeling in the world.
What's the biggest difference in your style or your approach to skating?
I'm much more confident in being able to perform at a high level.
Confidence is exactly what Todd will need for a run at gold in Salt Lake City. He finished 10th in 1992 in Albertville, failed to qualify for the games in Lillehammer, and fell short of medaling in 1998 in Nagano. After Nagano, you took some time off. What was your mindset taking those 2 years off?
I think my body and my mind needed a bit of a rest. And I needed to go and just do other things and decide after that whether or not I wanted to give it another run.
Did you at some point, Todd, say, okay, look, the Olympics just aren't meant to be for me?
Well, I still think that today, to be honest with you. It is definitely, something that is kind of, I'll say, haunting me or whatever. But, I looked at also, last year there was the different questions about whether he can do a quad or not. And so I kind of got that monkey off my back last year with landing that. So hopefully this next year we can kind of get the Olympic monkey off my back.
To be on top of his game in Salt Lake, Todd has to land a perfect quadruple jump in his Olympic program.
4 rotations in the air in less than a second. It's strength. It's probably even more timing. The ice is slippery and it's a small blade, so it's a difficult jump.
How confident are you in it in terms of putting it into an Olympic program?
No, I can't say that it's 100% confident right now, but hopefully by the time the Olympics come around and the national championships, that I can say that I'm hitting it 75–80% of the time.
Todd Eldredge.
So as the 30-year-old veteran who sits here after a 2-year timeout, who's now back skating well, what would it mean to you to make the Olympic team this year?
It would mean a tremendous deal to me to be on that team, and it would be my 3rd Olympics that I would be competing in. So, that in itself would be amazing. If I get a medal, if I don't get a medal, if I go there and I skate the performances that I haven't yet skated at the Olympics, that would make me happiest.
In light of what's happened in this country recently, how would you feel representing your country, watching the flag being raised and listening to an anthem?
I can't think, quite honestly, I can't think of anything that would feel better. To be in the United States, winning an Olympic gold medal for the United States, I don't know. It's hard to say. That's something I dream about, and, hopefully that dream, may come true someday.
Here's the deal. Todd's attempt to qualify for the Olympic team takes place this week at the U.S. Figure Skating Championships held in Los Angeles. We will certainly let you know how he does.
National Figure Skating Championships underway in Los Angeles, and on the men's side there is one competitor a good bit older than everyone else, and it really is sobering to say that a 30-year-old is older than the other athletes. But Todd Eldredge is a national and world champion. He has earned enough money in skating shows to buy himself a fabulous new house, a red Ferrari, and he can have door number 3. So why is he still out on the ice with a bunch of teenagers? Because, as our Robin Roberts found out, there's still one more thing that he wants.
A skating prodigy since he first stepped on the ice, an Olympian at 20. Most skaters like him peak young and retire. This guy still at it a decade later.
What if in '92, your first Olympics, someone, whispered in your ears and said, 10 years later, you're still going to be doing
I would have
this?
told them they were crazy. I would have said, God, I hope not. But no, I probably would have said, you guys are nuts.
Todd Eldredge started on hockey skates when he was 5.
Then he kind of took to it, and after 2 weeks, he decided he wanted to figure skate because he wanted to learn how to jump and spin. So we let him try that.
Well, he was always ready to go before anybody got out of bed. It's pretty hard to keep him off the ice, really. He didn't seem as though he could get enough.
It's an expensive sport, especially for a Cape Cod fisherman's son. His parents scrimped, and the whole town raised money to help pay for Todd's training. That investment of dollars and faith in Todd's potential paid off. He won the first of 5 national championships in 1990 and the world title in 1996. His unforgettable gesture there is his mother's favorite skating moment.
In 1996, when he won the World Championships, and he presented me with a medal. That was pretty awesome.
It's just as much their medal as it is mine, because I'm not the only one that's really out there. I mean, there's so many people that have supported me. I mean, they have, my coach. I mean, there's so many people. If I could have given each one of them a medal, I would have.
There's one gap in this champion's resume. In 1992, he finished 10th at the Olympics. In 1994, he didn't make the team. In 1998, he placed 4th. So instead of performing in lucrative skating shows like other 30-year-old ice stars, Todd is still out there training every day with Richard Callahan, his coach of 2 decades.
And make all the transitions really sharp. Straight arm there.
You could be somewhere making a ton of money doing a lot less work. So why are you out there still busting your butt?
That darn Olympic medaling. No, I've had a dream since I was a kid, of being at the Olympics, medaling at the Olympics, and obviously winning the Olympics. And I haven't lost sight of that dream yet.
That's way better.
If you are to make the team, you'd be the oldest Olympian skater since 1932. How does that make you feel?
Oh, I have to skate out with a cane, but no, it's great, and I think it's kind of something that I'll always look back on and say, I was at the Olympics 10 years ago in '92, and here I am 10 years later going for it again. It'll be something to tell the grandkids. And
So those are your real teeth, right? You're not that old. I mean, your real teeth, your hair.
Yeah, I don't have denture.
Any of that.
I don't use any Grecian formula or anything in my hair.
A 3rd-place finish at last year's World Championships proved that at 30, he's still a force to be reckoned with, and his fans are everywhere.
Well, what do you think that is? I mean, there is something about you on the ice that people...
I'm the old guy. I've been through some great times and some bad times, and people can really, I think relate to that because, everybody goes through that in their everyday lives. They have good times, they have bad times, and, they just want to see people get through it and have a great time at the end of it.
And Robin is here. They've already done the short program in the championships. How'd he do?
He did very well. He is tied for first, which was very rare to have a tie for first, but last night he's tied for first with 21-year-old Timothy Gable, who's like the quad king, very athletic. And Todd is more old school with the style of that, but he's tied for first right now. The top 3 go on to the Olympics.
But with all that he's achieved and with all that he has done, he's still a long shot in the Olympics, right?
He is still a long shot to make it to to win a medal. I mean, he
Right.
should make it to be on the U.S.
On
team
team.
and make it to the Olympics, but to still win a medal, that's somewhat of a long shot. And here he has 5 national championships, a world title, and he wants to win because his hometown has sacrificed so much, his mom and dad have sacrificed so much, and he really wants to get that Olympic medal.
And it is the Olympics, after all.
Absolutely.
It's going to be so much fun out there in Salt Lake City. Anyway, the men's long program will be shown live here on ABC Thursday night, right?
Yeah, you got it.
What time?
8 o'clock?
Eastern time.
Ah, all right, I got it.
All right. That was a quiz for Robin. All right. Thanks, Robin.